Hey, what's up everybody? Alito After back with a brand new video. Today's topic is one that we need to have, and that's the concept of why the credit bureaus are being so negligent in terms of offering you the right service and of course giving you the outcomes that you're looking for. See, the reason for this topic is because I've seen a lot of customers lately go through a series of different situations with the credit bureaus where some of the outcomes are coming back positive, some of the outcomes are coming back negative, and basically we're kind of all over the place. We're having a very hard time trying to get the best outcomes possible for what we're trying to get done, which is credit repair ultimately, right? So what is it that we have to pay attention to today? What specifically do we have to understand, and why is it that the credit bureaus are acting in such a way? That's what we're going to talk about today, so stay tuned. Hey, what's going on everybody? Alito After yet with another video. Today we're going to talk about the credit bureaus and their negligence. So before we get started, look, if you're following me and you like what I'm sharing, specifically when it comes to personal credit, financial transformation, and of course creating wealth, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification to all, smash that like button so every time there's videos like these, you'll be the first to know, and it'll help me get the distribution I need through the YouTube algorithm. And with that said, let's talk about 3 things and 3 reasons as to why the credit bureaus are being negligent with you, and what you can do to overcome those instances, and what to do to mentally prepare yourself so that you don't get frustrated, because that's quite, what's happening right now. And I understand why. Well, the first reason is because the credit bureaus, this is the, point number 1, the credit bureaus already have a predetermined way of dealing with a scenario, right? So when you send your letters, what's happening is the credit bureaus get your response, they look through the mail, and what they see is, oh my God, looks like a template. And it's not necessarily the bureaus themselves, but the system they're using to analyze those credit reports. So when they see that, what's happening, right? They check out like, oh my God, this looks similar to thousands of other templates that I've seen, and then basically gets auto-categorized. And the OSCAR system then basically challenges or fixes the situation based on what it deems fit. So it's not necessarily human, reviewed. So this is why I always tell you guys, like, be very specific when it comes to your challenges and or disputes. Right? Because when you're looking at your credit reports, one of the biggest things that you'll notice is there's so much different things that you can analyze your credit reports on, and so many different ways to go ahead and challenge those issues. See, the problem is, if we're so determined on getting the outcomes and we're trying to get some speedy resolution, we tend to forget that shortcuts are probably going to hurt us. We want to see outcomes, we want to get credit fixed ASAP, because it is a situation where economically everyone's going through a hard time. There's no denying that, right? But at the end of the day, don't let your credit go through a hard time by doing things that'll pretty much put you in a system, and be categorized as a whole bunch of templates, and then ultimately you're not going to get the outcome that you're looking for. So because of the predetermined way of dealing with issues and situations, the biggest thing you have to do is you have to go outside that predetermined system. And what does that mean? It means you have to have a holistic and complete personalized approach to dealing with your personal credit. This means that you have to analyze your reports. You have to understand how to read your reports properly. You have to understand how compliance and the reporting works. Even as a customer, a lot of people think this is only necessary if you own a credit repair business. And the reality is it's not true. You as a consumer, as much as it's like you going and buying a car, you need to know where the gas goes. You need to know how the brake works. You need to understand how the accelerator works. You need to know how to put the windows down when it's too hot. You need to know how to turn on the air conditioner. You need to know how to operate the sunroof, lock your car, right? And all sorts of stuff. Where the battery is, how to, let's say boost the battery if the battery runs out. These are technical things that we don't have to learn, but we need to know if we're sole operators of our car, if we're going outside, and if there's certain things that happen, on how to change a tire from the emergency trunk or whatever the case. All these type of things we need to know. So these are necessities, right? And as necessary as that is, the same goes for our credit reporting. We need to understand how to analyze, how to understand how the compliance aspect works with credit reporting, right? As much as we need to understand how the battery functions in a car. This kind of concept means that you have to dig deeper into the credit reporting infrastructure. Understand what are some of the obvious mistakes factually breaking into those aspects of those mistakes, and what you can do to lead away from that. So that's our first point, right? Don't be a part of a predetermined system and a resolution, rather step outside by being fully customized. Point number 2, the bureaus know that the courts are not going to be accepting trials or cases and stuff like that for review for a very long time due to COVID-19 and the pandemic. So what does that mean? It means that no matter how hard you try, or even if your attorney gets on the phone on your behalf, it's going to take a very long time before a resolution. Now imagine this. Imagine you wait for a court case and you spend about 2 years of your time trying to get a resolution, right? 2 years of your time trying to fight this off and going back and forth with an attorney and a lawyer. And all of a sudden, before the 2-year time frame, and they're taking their sweet time and they have nothing to do but press a button. At the very end of that 2 years, right as you're about to sue them after thousands of dollars spent in attorney fees and stuff like that, all they do is press a button and fix your issue, right? Because their goal, it's not to serve you, it's to serve the corporate and the investors and basically serve the company's purpose. So you're basically a minute nuisance to them because you're not really doing anything to help their business. So at the end of the day, it is something that we have to consider, right? The court systems and the legal system and trials and stuff like that, to actually get it to a point where you have to sue them and you have to take them to court is going to take a very long time. In addition to that, it's always a game where they can, at the end of the day, out of court settlement, which is basically, hey, look, we're going to fix this. Here it is. We've done our job. And even if you were to take them to court after, all they got to say is, hey, we didn't have the time. We just resolved the problem now. So that's the second point you have to keep in mind. They're playing with the time. The time is enabling them to be more negligent. So that's something that you have to work with. So what are some of the things that we can do to step outside that zone of negligence? What are some of the things that you can do as a customer to protect yourself and be, qualified in a category where your situation is urgent or more important? So you cannot just stop it at basically sending letters. So that's the only time that you're going to get this type of negligence, and that's the only time you're going to be part of a queue. Even though you're highly customizing your letters and being more specific about the challenge that you have, you're going to be part of the queue. So to step out of that queue, to step into a zone where you can actually do something that's more customized, you need to work in a situation where, outside of sending letters, you have to follow up by having a phone conversation. And I'm not saying dispute over the phone, because a lot of people are scared to actually talk to the bureaus because they feel like, they're going to be put into a situation to accept certain things, or there's going to be some pressure. And the reality is the bureaus are there to serve you and nobody else, right? At the end of the day, you don't have to be nervous about that. And I'm not asking you to go ahead and challenge or dispute it over the phone. But what I'm simply asking you to do is, as soon as you send that off, that certified mail, and you have the confirmation that they've received it, it is your duty to pick up the phone and give them a call and confirm that they're not going to throw it into the garbage bin or categorize it as just another dispute. It is your responsibility to say, look, I've sent you a letter. Do you have the contents of my document? Do you understand what it says? Would you be able to review it with me? Right? And so on and so forth. So, and then basically ask them, how long will it take? When can I expect a response? Because at the end of the day, a lot of people send their letters and sometimes they wait 60 days to get nothing at all. There's no response whatsoever. So the second point here is, yeah, they're using the time, but the resolution of that is that, even if you don't want to go through trial and wait 2 years and basically have them press a button to fix it for you, and even at that, they're going to fix it, not completely. So the best thing is send a customized template or a campaign and a follow up with a phone conversation, and make sure that they review the contents of that letter. And the third and final point here is learn more about what you need to be aware when it comes to your personal credit, specifically the laws around COVID when it comes to late payments, specifically around consumer protection of defamation, which is basically false reports that are data with, filled with the data that's completely inaccurate, and it's not necessarily helping your situation, because that's what's potentially holding you back. Because it is, at the end of the day, false data about you as an individual on your credit report. If it's not accurate, it's not factually proven to be compliant, that in turn is an issue for you as a customer. So with that said, you absolutely need to do your job to make sure that you know your laws, that you understand the basic consumer level protection you have, because you'll need that. As a customer, you'll need that. You need to understand these things, because that is your credit report. This is a matter of your financial well-being. We have to be serious about this. This is not something we can joke about, right? So I implore you to go ahead and understand these three options. So let's review it one more time and give you the solutions to that. The first is, you have to have a customized situation of credit repair, and you have to understand how to read your reports, how to write the letter that's independent from these templates, and that the bureaus have the Oscar system scan it and categorize it based on what it sees fit. So for that reason, you have to customize your campaigns. That's the first one. Second point, the bureaus know that now, due to timeframes and COVID, they can expand their resolution. Even if you were to sue them, they know that you're not going to go in front of a judge for many, many months on end. And therefore, they will take that to their advantage. To stand apart from that, you need to go ahead and do more than just send a letter. And that is basically communicate over the phone and reach out to them and explain to them that you've sent a letter, if they received it, to review the document with you and how long it'll take. You're not necessarily challenging or disputing over the phone. The letters and the contents of the letters will do that for you. The third point we talked about is being more educated about your consumer laws and how to protect yourself. You absolutely need to do these things, because these are the things that'll protect you down the road whether it be based on late payments, collection agencies, charge-offs, information that's inaccurate, personal identifiers for that matter. Whatever the case, you need to know your laws. You need to understand on how to use this information. So when it comes to all these type of things, you need to understand the whole situation here and why, the bureaus are being negligent and what you can do about it to avoid that. So with that said, I hope this video gave you some insights on some of the practical steps that you can take to solve this issue. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, smash that thumbs up, in fact, because this will help me push out the content as YouTube algorithm will kick up on that. As well, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and turn the notifications on to all, so every time there's videos like these, you guys will be the first to know. And with that said, I'm going to turn it over to you. What are some of the challenges you're personally having right now when it comes to your personal credit? So go ahead and tell me that on the comment section of this video. And with that said, this is your guide and mentor. Definitely catch you guys in the next one. Bye for now.